Okay, guys. Well, happy Thursday, everybody. I'm so excited to be on with you all. I'm really thankful for all of you today, for real. I love what I do. And I was looking at our Leaders in Progress site and I was like, man, I am so thankful for this group because you guys really challenge me to level up, to really pursue the best person that I could be. And doing it with all of you who are doing the same thing is so much fun. I don't know if it happens to you guys, but I've been in groups where I'm like, all they talk about is shows. And I'm like, this isn't me anymore. Like, I'm so bored. I don't want to talk about shows. I don't even know what shows are on because I don't watch shows anymore, And it's crazy because I'd rather be reading a book or just kind of working with somebody or helping somebody or connecting with somebody, and things just change. So I'm just so thankful for this group. So today I'm gonna mute everybody, and then when we open it up, you guys are more than welcome to unmute yourselves afterwards. Okay, let me just mute everybody real quick. Okay. So today we wanted to talk a little bit about how we manage expectations, how we manage disappointments. Did I mute all? Okay. Mute all. Okay. How we manage disappointments and how we manage our expectations, right? I was just right now sharing my story with another group, and I was kind of like remembering my journey as a brand new coach and how things were for me in the beginning. And it's crazy how I didn't give up. Like Kim said once, she was like, you're like that little engine that could, and you just throw everybody in the front, and you just keep going. And it's true. And sometimes my husband would be like, what keeps you going? I'm like, I just keep going. I don't know, with or without anybody, with or without you, I'm going to go. And that's how it goes, but it didn't get to that. It wasn't like that all the time. And I really want to share with you guys what my process was and how I got to that point. One of the biggest things was I needed to really realize why I was doing this. I needed to find a why that nobody could take away from me. I needed to find something that I would be willing to fight for no matter what. And that was my biggest thing. And I shared with you guys an exercise, which I don't know if any of you guys did it, but I shared with you guys an exercise that really changed everything for me. And when I discovered my true why, it's till this day. I wrote that why 3 years ago, but when I read that why, I still cry. I still cry when I read what I wrote because it means so much to me that I'm just like, I don't care what life throws my way, I'm going to keep going. So for me, when I had to manage my disappointments, first of all, I had to figure out why I wanted to do this and what I was going to be fighting for. And that is the biggest thing for me. It was fighting for what I really wanted more than anything else. Second, I had to find out how to manage my expectations, right? Sometimes, we decide, oh my gosh, I want to connect with 50 people, and we do things all at once, and we expect that after we connect with 50 people, maybe 5 people should sign up immediately. When we expect things like that, you know what happens? We get disappointed. And we get disappointed because sometimes we are not consistent. Like Jamil told me once, I'd rather you divide that and connect with 10 people every single day versus you sit down and you try to connect with 50 people at once, and then you're so disappointed. Because what happens when we're sowing the seeds? When we're sowing the seeds, you know what happens as you're focusing on sowing seeds every single day? You know what's growing behind you? Those seeds are starting to grow and starting to sprout behind you. But when we decide to like do everything at once, and it's just like, boom, I'm just going to connect with 50 people right now, and that's all I'm going to do. It doesn't matter what I do. We get super disappointed. And so it's important that we manage our expectations, that we see what we're going to do, that we fall in love with the process and not just the outcome. Because when I used to do that, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm going to connect with 50 people. What's Jamil talking about? I'm going to connect with 50 people right now, and I'm going to have the rest of the week off. And then you know what happened? Nobody signed up. But because there was no consistency in what I did. And it's important that we build trust and that we cultivate that trust. And when we do, what we do is on a daily basis, when we sow a little bit every day, you build momentum for yourself, right? You start building that momentum, you start building that momentum. So it's important that, you know, as new coaches, and it's funny because we have only very few new coaches right now. I was hoping we'd get more new coaches, but that's fine. We have the recording, we'll send it to them, right? It is important that we manage the expectations, but that we're also consistent with what we do every single day. Another thing was I had to learn to take massive responsibility for my business. I used to play the blame game, you guys, and the victimization game. I blamed everybody. I would be like, it's because so-and-so, you know, doesn't have money like always, you know, she can't sign up, or so-and-so is going to cancel because she doesn't have the money. And I would tell Jamel, I come from a very poor network. Like, this sucks. Like, you know, oh my gosh. I remember one time he told me, Priscilla, all I hear is, wait. And I'm like, excuse me? That's all you hear? I'm like, you're pouring my heart out to you and that's all you hear? And that's all he heard, because that's all I did. I was the victim. I was a victim, and I was blaming everybody as to why this business wasn't growing. So I had to take personal, massive responsibility. And when I did that, that was the game changer, because I was like, okay, let's be real, Priscilla. I connected with 50 people last week in one day. But then you know what happened on Tuesday? I decided to go out for coffee with Sarah. And then on Wednesday, I decided to go on a play date. And then on Thursday, I decided it was laundry time and I had to clean and I had to do all these things. So when I looked at the mirror, I was like, I'm not doing the things I'm supposed to do. And I'm blaming people and I'm victimizing people, but it really is all on me. And when I began to take massive responsibility for my business and for my life, everything changed. And I remember, and Cynthia, I love you. I'm going to put you on blast for a little bit right here, but I love you so much. Okay. In the very beginning, when we started coaching, me and Cynthia together, she went through a hard time, right? And Cynthia was like my strong coach. And Cynthia told me, I don't know that I can. She was like, I don't know that I can do this. She was like, I don't know that I can keep going. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, if Cynthia doesn't run, I have nobody else running with me. And I remember it was at that point, it was that crossing point that I was just like, I can't put my whole business on Cynthia. It's not for her to carry on her shoulders. It's for me to carry on my shoulders. And so when that happened with her, I went into massive momentum. And that's around the month that Priscilla came on, Kim came on, Cassandra came on, like all these coaches came on, and they started running. And I realized I can't put my business on one person's shoulders. It's my business. I need to take personal responsibility. So that was the biggest thing for me. It was taking responsibility. It was being really, really connected to my why and knowing why I wanted this more than anything else. And I want to encourage you guys today, if you are discouraged, if you need to learn how to manage your disappointments, let me tell you something. Entrepreneurship, you guys, is not a coasting thing. It doesn't go like this. You have your highs and you have your lows. One day you're like, I'm like the coach of I'm the best coach in the world. And then the next month you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to call this girl. She's getting a renewal and then I haven't reached out to her in 30 days, right? And you're just like, how did this person fall through the cracks? You guys, we're going to have our good times and we're going to have our bad times. We're going to have our highs and we're going to have our lows, but that's what entrepreneurship is about. Our goal is to become the best coach we can be. And how do we do that? By becoming the best version of ourselves, by leading ourselves first, by leading through our health, by leading through our mindsets, right? I was telling the previous team right now, I was like, you know what? We feed our souls. If you're a Christian, you feed your soul on a daily basis. You read the Bible, you spend time with the Lord, right? You spend time in church. You eat every day. You eat every 2 to 3 hours. Every single day you're eating every 2 to 3 hours. You're hydrating all day long, right? We need social interaction. We need to talk to people every day. If we don't talk to people every day, we go crazy. You guys, the most important muscle up here, we need to feed it to grow too. If you're not growing, and if you are not contending to grow that mindset and to become the best version of you, you're not going to grow this business. I'm going to tell you that right now, because you need to lead yourself first before you lead anybody else. That's how the game goes. If you cannot lead yourself, how are you going to lead others? How are you going to help others? The things that you learn, the things that you help yourself grow up here is what you're going to give other people too. So I want to challenge you guys. I want to know, what books are you reading? Jamil just came out with this incredible book, which I started reading, and it's everything. It's basically, if he's not your mentor, Everything he wrote in that book is how he mentors us. He'll mentor you through that book. It's going to be like Jamil sitting there and he's talking to you. I want to encourage you to pick up that book and start consuming that book. Start feeding that mindset, because that is how you're going to grow. So those are my tips to you. And I'm going to open it up because I don't want to take up all the time. I asked the other leaders in the group to actually share how they manage their disappointments as well. But those are the things that I want to leave to you. One, find your rock solid why. Decide if this is the vehicle that you're going to use or not. And don't half but things. I don't want to say that half ASS, okay? Don't half but things. Like, if you're going to do this, go all in. And if you're not going to do this, if you're not sure this is it, then I don't want you to waste your time. Like, go spend time with your family, go spend time with your kids, go, take them to the park, but if you're going to do this, if you're going to decide that this is a vehicle you're going to take, you need to make a decision and a commitment. That's what I did 4 years ago. I decided that no matter what came my way, I was going to pursue this. And I decided to make a commitment. And another tip I forgot to tell you guys, which I told the other group, was this. You guys, as you begin to grow and as you begin to succeed, people are going to come and be like, are you sure you're doing what you're supposed to do? Are you sure this is it? Are you sure you're posting a little too much on social media? Like, I don't know. You know what? If I don't want to be like you, I ain't going to listen to you. And that's what I said. Like, I was sharing like earlier today, like, I love my brother. My brother is like one of the most successful people in corporate. He is so successful, you guys, at what he does. It's incredible. But I don't want my brother's life. That's not where I want to go. I want to take the entrepreneur life. So who do I look up to? Who do I see that leave me clues to follow? I see Jamil Frazier. I see Megan Valentine. I see Dan Valentine. I see Doug Wood. I see Dan Bell. I see entrepreneurs like, other people that we follow on social media that I like and that I respect. Those are the people that I'm going to allow into my head. But as you're growing and as you begin to work on yourself and as you begin to do this, people are going to throw doubts in your heads. And I want to encourage you guys to shut that out. Learn what you need to shut out. As much as I love you, my brother, as much as I adore you, you're the best brother in the world. I am not going to allow you to pour into this, because this is very sacred. In order for me to grow this business and for me to grow myself, I cannot listen to what you want to tell me. So let's leave this as a friendship, as a brother. And he told my mom last week, like, oh my gosh, she never listens to me. And I'm like, of course not. I told my mom, I ain't going to listen to him. Like, that's great. If I was going the corporate route, I would totally have my brother tell me what I need to do. What should I do? But I am contending for a bigger life. And I want more. And so I'm going to listen to the people that I want to be like. So I want you guys to be very careful with the people you allow in here. So those are my tips to you guys. Those are the things that have really helped me, right? Get rid of the blame game, get rid of the victimization game, and take massive responsibility. Look in the mirror and be like, am I really doing everything I need to do to grow this business? Am I really, really doing it? Like, I'm doing these boot camps, but am I really doing the action steps? Am I? And I love one thing Priscilla told me once. She's like, Priscilla, when I finish boot camps, I do not get out of my seat until I finish my action steps. And I love that, because I was not like that. I'd be like, I'm going to take a break, and after I have breakfast and after I take care of my kids, I'm going to go do the action steps. And then before I realize, I'm like, oh snap, it's time for them to go to bed. And then it's time for me to spend time with my husband. I didn't do any of the action steps, but I did the boot camp. So take a hard look in the mirror, you guys, and be like, am I really doing what I need to do to get to where I need to get to? And if I am, should I talk to my mentorship team and see where I can do better, what I can do? Because sometimes you can be doing all the things you're doing, but if you're not leading this and you're not growing this, you're not going to grow this business. Simple as that. So I want to open the platform for, especially I asked the leaders to really like just kind of talk about, where they're at and how they manage expectations and disappointments. And then I'd love to open it up to the rest of the team to just kind of share where they're at too. Anybody want to go first?
Can you hear me? I would love to.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. All right. By far, I have had a lot of disappointments in coaching. And the biggest form of disappointment for me comes from clients, and new coaches or coaches on our team that don't see the vision or don't want it as much as I want it for them. And so I've had a lot of conversations with Priscilla about this, because there are certain ones that's like, oh my gosh, they need this so much. And I just want to help them and just keep reaching out, keep reaching out. But it's like, you know what? We can't do the work for them. We cannot do the work for them. So anyone, and that is for any coach on our team too. It's like, oh, there's like so much to this. You can grow so much, and there's so much that you personally can get out of coaching. But you know what? We can't do the work for you. And so some of the biggest disappointments, I remember, like, one of my best friends, her name is Leanna. She was my diet buddy all like through like the years. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she like wanted to coach. We were going to do this together. It's like the best thing ever. And it's like, oh my gosh, what a total disappointment, because she did nothing. She didn't want to have anything to do with our structure and our system. And she just like totally fizzled out like within a week. And I was just so disappointed. And there's been a lot of coaches actually like that I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to like do this, not really like for me, but like for them, because I know what this has done for me. But we can't do the work for them. And we just, plant the seeds like Priscilla said. But by far for me, that has been the biggest disappointment. It's little baby steps for me. I'm getting past that. It's like, you know what? I can pour into you, and I want to give you my time. But if you're not going to do the work or whatever, there's nothing, I can't do the work for you. And so anyway, so that's been for me the biggest form of disappointment. Then I realized, you know what? Maybe I'm just not at the level of where I need to be a better leader, right? And so what I do is I look within, and I'm all about personal development. And I actually share with any coaches that want it my personal development list of the things that I've listened to on TED Talks and everything. I listen every morning to something personal development, because I need to grow to that person that I need to become to be a better leader. And I'm not scared of it. I want that growth, but it takes work. It takes effort. Listening to these things, this is not going to happen overnight, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. So I would say personal development and managing disappointments, and focusing on the positives. Focus on the positives. You will get clients that are like awesome, that lose 100 pounds, that get off diabetes medicine. It happens. And if it hasn't happened for you yet, it's okay. It will happen. Just trust the people that go before you. Focus on those positives, and for the negatives or whatever, grow through it. Obstacles are the way. That's one of our things that we do in leadership. So you got to expect growth in yourself to be able to manage those disappointments. So that's what I want to talk about, So anyway, that's it.
I love that. Love that. Focus on the positives, you guys. Focus on the wins, because everything has wins and losses. Simple as that, right? Focus on the wins. Anybody else? Cynthia?
I'll go next. Yeah. Can you hear me okay? Okay, let me know if you can later on. Okay, just now, I hopped on this call, and obviously the first thing I did is to scroll to see if my coaches are on, right? And a lot of the coaches that I wanted to be on are not on, right? So for a second, I was like disappointed for a split second, but then I'm like, no, I can't. I mean, I'm realizing what I'm doing, thinking below the line, and like spending energy on something that's not really helping me here. And then the topic is, we're talking about disappointment, right? So I quickly shifted it. I'm like, you know what? The variables here, it's them, right? We have no control over what a person does, thinks, or wants, right? And then we deal with like different human beings, right? So the only factor that I can control in this situation is myself and my thoughts. Like the only thing, like Linda mentioned in the morning on our training, is us. Like I can control my thoughts and emotions. And the better I get at doing that, the more I'm going to react differently to the situation. You know, how come it is that we coach a client, you know, Priscilla does it a different way if the client fails. And then I'm like devastated and I'm going to quit this, you know, the whole coaching thing. So it has to do a lot with us and our growth, you know, our emotional intelligence and how we deal with how we manage our emotions. So, and that's something like Priscilla said, it takes time and practice. I don't know, I mean, and it depends where you are in your life and your background and how much experience you have. You come into this business with different skills, you know. I had zero, because I mean, I would say young and not so experienced in life, and no one teaches you in school. We don't learn this stuff, how to manage emotions, how to effectively communicate with people. You know, it's just like the books, and I was an A plus plus student, you know, and everything. And then you go into the real world, and I'm like, oh, it's not the most brilliant or who works so much. You know, life is not fair. So when it comes to things like that, you expect everyone to do exactly what you want just because you're a type A personality, say, or because you get the vision. But sometimes we understand it the hard way, and part of the process is actually disappointment. You know, you are going to experience it. If we avoid disappointment, it's basically saying that I don't want to go through it, therefore I'm not going to take the action. So that's important to know, because I sometimes go through a coaching explore, not want to do it because I know I've lowered my expectations. So I'm going in knowing that this person is not going to sign up. Therefore, why even bother sharing it with them? You know. So that's the other extreme. We got to be careful not to fall into not taking action because you know it's not going to happen. There, I don't want to get disappointed, so let me just avoid doing this. You don't want to do that too. You know. And then, you know, I think with that, I think Priscilla, you talked about perfectionism, like doing 50, like your max, just like wanting to do it all at once. That brings disappointment too, you know, because you're striving like at overachieving, but then you don't get it done, then you're disappointed and kind of want to quit, you know. That's where consistency comes in. But, you know, not taking action also like the other way, the other extreme kind of I've felt and done at times, you know, like why bother do the next health assessment? Because they're not going to sign up, you know. But also remembering that we are not trying to get someone to do something, whether it's coaching or program. We are, you know, our expectations is just, you know, we're just sharing this, you know, it's a gift. We know what it's done to us, and our job is just to share it with them. So you go in with, I don't know if it's called low expectations or maybe like no expectations at all, you know, then it's up to them to take it. Then if I'm not expecting someone to sign up, then I'm not disappointed. I'm not wasting my time dwelling on, oh, why didn't they? I wasted my time doing a health assessment. No, you know, you just do it, you move on and think positive. Oh, you just practice another health assessment, you know, you got stronger in doing them. You'll learn something from that health assessment. And then a no is not, it's a no yet, you know. So I think coming in with that is just, I've gotten really good at with those health assessments. Like I don't expect anyone to sign up, you know, and then they can sense that too, like the pressure. You're just like sharing it and caring. It just makes I think, like staying neutral makes a huge difference. But a lot of people prematurely just want to give up just because it gets challenging, and you know it just tells you you gotta work on yourself. And that's one of the things the newer coaches really like give up because of disappointment. I would say so. This is a very interesting topic, and if you can get over it, that's how you can move on. So like look within yourself, you know, not like just comparing, how come this person gets so many clients and I don't, you know. It's just a matter of how you deal and get over that disappointment. Like don't waste so much energy being disappointed. I've been there so many times, and yesterday I shared with Linda and one of her coaches that I wanted to give up coaching because of one client that just annoyed me so much. And then I had a conversation with Priscilla's coach, Craig, and he lectured me. And then after that, he's like, do you really want to quit this because it's just one old lady? Like, Do you really want her to stop you from, like your full potential? And I'm so glad I didn't. And I was so like immature that I went and told this lady, I love you. She looked at me like she was like a mom to me. I said, I want to stop coaching because you challenge me so much and this is not fun. I told her that. Maybe you shouldn't, but I did. That's how far I've come, but it's part of the process, and just learn. You're gonna experience it, and then, but learning how to get out of it and how to manage those disappointments is, I think, key. You can't avoid it. Yeah.
Exactly. That is gold, Cynthia. That you've come a long way, my friend. I'm so happy for you.
you know.
Anybody else want to share as well how they manage that?
One thing that I wanted to say, if nobody else was up for it, excuse me, patience. Please, Thomas. Sorry about that. Is to love on them. Sometimes they just need space. I think like if I signed up to coach under Priscilla in October last year, and I didn't do more than being a senior for a while and just being there. But she just gave me the time. She just was patient, and she just loved on me because she knew I had it in me, but I wasn't ready to run. And when it just happens, somebody that I care for just needed a space a couple of weeks ago. And I know that she had it in her, but I knew she needed space and she needed patience and she needed love. And that's all I did. And now she's back on track, ready to give it her all. And I'm very proud of her. So all we need to do sometimes is just get busy getting more clients. If you are sick worry about one client or two clients that are falling apart, Priscilla said that to me. If you're too busy with just these two clients that are completely falling apart, you don't have enough clients that you need to get busy getting more clients. And it's just that simple. Sometimes you just have to love and wait for them to be really ready, and not like Cynthia said, is like just be patient and move forward and keep going, and don't lay on the ugly, because there's going to be ugly times. But I mean, just be patient, keep loving. Just not only like applicable for coaches, for clients, but also for coaches. I think but don't give up. That's the best part. Don't give up. Stay. Because if you stay, you're going to make it.
Love that. Just stay. Exactly. Just stay. Anybody else want to say anything before we close out?
I'll say something.
Yeah.
Just before we end. I just want to say that, when I first started the 5-in-1, I actually wrote down, I keep a journal, and I wrote down in my journal about how I felt like, because I had tried so many different things and it had never worked. And I felt so nervous and felt like maybe I was starting something that wouldn't work again. I really didn't have a lot of hope. But Priscilla's my coach, and I trusted Priscilla, and I just went off of the hope that she had for me. And I think after the first week, I was even disappointed that I had only lost like 6 pounds. Like, what? What is that even? Now my clients tell me that, I'm like, it's 6 pounds. I wish I could lose 6 pounds right now, in a week. But so I think that at the beginning of coaching, I felt the same way. I felt that maybe it was something that I couldn't do. When I started the 5-in-1, I wasn't an expert at the 5-in-1 until I was, and when I started coaching, I wasn't an expert at coaching, and I'm still learning on how to coach. And I think that a lot of my disappointments has come from my own self, of learning how to lead, learning how to be the coach that I need to be for my clients, learning how to lead leaders, and all that takes time and it takes effort. And as I've been growing as a coach with my clients and moving people through the 5-in-1 and other programs, I have learned more about myself and more about my own ability to lead. And also now that I'm leading more coaches, I'm learning even more. So I think that for me, I would say give yourself patience. We don't all start this with all the skills that we need, and don't give up. I think that one of the things that I learned last, I wrote down on my big board, was lead yourself. You know, to become a leader, you have to learn to lead yourself first. And so, you know, you're your first client, you're your first coach, and work on leading yourself. You know, read those books that you need to. If you haven't finished the Life book, if you haven't gotten into the Healthy Habits book, get into those. Those are what we're using. If you don't have the coaching guide, get the coaching guide. You know, do the work, do the push-ups that you need to do to get to be to the person that you need to be to lead these people. And it will happen. Give yourself patience, just like you learned the 5-in-1. You know, a few weeks in, you were like, oh yeah, I could totally go out to dinner, right? Well, that's how it's going to be when you're coaching. You just got to give yourself time and keep moving forward. And before you know it, you're going to be doing great. So that's what I got.
Awesome, Kim. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to share anything before we close out?
May I? I
Yes.
know we're over time. I just want to, everybody's covering a topic, and I want to cover the topic of clients who decide to not continue with program and dealing with the disappointment of that, especially for the new coaches. You guys, like, my aunt was like my third client, and she wrote a breakup note to me. She wrote it because she's older, you know, she wrote it by hand. She took a picture of it and she sent it to me. I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. Broke my heart. I was like, I can't be a coach. I can't. Because, like, how am I going to go and, like, talk to my aunt now, knowing she quit my program? And, like, it was disappointment for me. And that was in the beginning. And I was like, if I have to deal with this all the time, like, I don't want it. Then I realized I had been pushing my aunt into it. I hadn't waited for her to be ready. So my mistake. However, I also learned that if you do your part, if you do your job and you implement them and you give them all the tools that we are supposed to give them, and they still don't want to do it, don't take it personal. We cannot want it more than they want it. And don't let that break you and break your passion for what you can do and what is possible. And don't let that affect you personally. That's all I wanted to say.
Love that. Thank you, Linda. And I just want to close out with saying this. This morning, if you were on the call, Jamil talked about dreams. And one thing he said was, if you have big dreams you want to achieve, you're going to have to fall in love with difficulty and pain. Because nothing big, nothing that you want comes easy. It doesn't. So if you have these big, audacious dreams that are going to scare you, that scare the crap out of you, good. I'm glad you have those dreams. But just know that that is not going to come without difficulty and pain, because so much growth has to happen. And the no's, the disappointments, you know, the struggles, the things you wanted and didn't come, all of these are stepping stones to you becoming the best version of yourself. So I want to encourage you guys to embrace these disappointments. Embrace the disappointments and see what can I do to make things better? What can I learn from this disappointment, right? Because honestly, you guys, I have so many coaches that started like a month ago, 2 months ago, 6 of them. I will say 5 of them are not running anymore because one person decided to turn their kit in again, or somebody else, their brother said something to them, or, you know, it's like somebody went and they fell and they withered away. And it's really sad, but that's why it is important. And this is why we need to cover this topic, because disappointment is a part of this business. But if you learn how to ride the wave, my friends, you guys are going to come out strong on the other side. So I want to encourage you guys to really, you know, this has been recorded, and my husband did something to finally fix it. I'm going to upload a ton of trainings that we've done in the past that I haven't uploaded, but I'm going to upload this one first right now. I'm not going to get out of here until I upload it, and share it with your people, because disappointments would come, and sometimes brand new coaches think they're the only ones that are disappointed. So anything you need, you know, post in Leaders in Progress. I am so excited that, you know, you guys all hopped on today. And if there's anything that we can help or serve you guys with, please do not hesitate to reach out. Okay. All right. All right, everybody.
Okay.
Have a good night. Did somebody
Yeah,
want
hi. Yeah, I just want to say hi. I'm a new coach and I'm very excited and happy to be a part of this group. So I think I have a lot to learn about from this group, from you guys. I hope you help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, Marina. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought I had seen you on
It's
before.
okay.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
she's so pretty. I'm like, I feel like
Oh.
I've seen her in the call before, but it was probably just your profile picture. Welcome, Marina. Welcome, welcome. We are
Thank you.
so happy to have you on. Okay. Welcome to our
Thank
family.
you.
All
Okay.
right. All right,
Thank you.
everyone. We will talk to you all later, and we're going to connect with you for sure, Marina. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.